Welcome back to Marlins 9. My name is Jeremiah Geiger. Today is Thursday, April 10th, Thursday edition of the podcast, and off day for the Marlins today. So, no game action to recap as of today. They did come off of the 3-game series against the New York Yankees, finishing up a road trip in New York. The road trip, which entailed playing the St. Louis Cardinals and for 3, and then going to Yankee Stadium where they lost 2 out of 3. So overall, the Marlins are 2-11 on the year, but they head back to Miami for games this upcoming weekend against their division rival, the Atlanta Braves, their first of the season against the Bravos. So really important stretch coming up because now begins what is going to be a very crucial stretch of no breaks, a game every day for 13 consecutive days. 13 consecutive games the Marlins are going to be playing. Starts the homestand with the Braves and then the Giants, both at home. And then they're going to go to Chicago and go to Atlanta. So 6 of those games, guys, are going to be against the Braves. And, you're sitting at 2-11. There's not much margin for error at this point. There's not much margin for error. I believe that these next 13 games are going to determine the fate of the Marlins season. It's as simple as that. If you can somehow get a winning record, maybe go 8-5, 9-4, and slowly claw your way back towards 500, then there's going to be hope, and there's going to be a sense of morale being lifted up in the clubhouse, especially, and the feeling that this team isn't dead just yet because of the quality of opponents this team will be playing. The Braves are great. The Cubs, the Giants, quality teams. So this is it, guys. I really think this is it because historically, Miami has struggled against Atlanta. If they get swept this weekend, if they're 2-14, if they lose 5 out of 6 to the Braves overall, you still have to play Chicago. You still have to play San Francisco in that stretch. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like I said, I think going into this upcoming stretch of games, I think you got to look at 8-5 is the bare minimum. 8-5 being the bare minimum. Probably more so 9-4. You'd feel really good with 9-4. You'd want to see a sweep in there. Not saying they're going to sweep the Braves. Imagine if they did, that would be awesome. But if you can sweep a team, if you can sweep the Giants, you can maybe take 3 out of 4 against the Cubs. You need to start stacking wins at this point. Otherwise, this season's over before it even started. It's on life support right now. 9 games under 500. And, you're at the beginning of April still, heading into mid-April. So, like I said, no margin for error. It begins tomorrow at home, back at Lone Depot against the Braves. So, next topic I want to get into is the pitching staff. More specifically, I'm going to pose a question. Has the AJ Puk experiment failed? Is it time to just call it good? It just didn't work out. Put him back in the bullpen. I think it is. And I think it's not a testament to anything that, in spring training that we saw, and they were clearly making the wrong decision. Puk pitched really well in spring training. That was obvious. I think he earned the chance to start. It was an interesting decision, but it was an experiment that, based on results, he'd never started a game in the majors. Last time he started a game was in the minors with Oakland 3 years ago. So there was a sense of uncertainty of Nobody really knew how this was going to go. And 3 games in, I think it's a fair assumption to say that he's better suited for a bullpen role. Number one piece of evidence supporting that is the walks. He already has more walks here in 2024 than he did all of last season. 14 walks in 3 games. He leads the majors in walks. And for a guy like AJ who's such a competitor, that's obviously tough to see him not be able to go out and be effective. Hasn't pitched through 5 innings. It's gotten better slowly. I think it's gotten better slowly. His first game was obviously the worst of them all. Walked 6, but in following games, um, against the Angels, and then his most recent start, he just hasn't been able to pitch deep into games. The pitch count rises. This upcoming game against the Yankees, I didn't think he pitched terribly, but it was the walks, the pitch count, and it just seems at this point, moving forward as an organization and as a pitching staff, AJ Puk is going to be better suited to help this team in the bullpen. I think that would take a lot of stress off his shoulders. I think that would open up a lot of opportunities within the bullpen, which has struggled, and take some stress off of them. But this all hinges on Edward Cabrera and Braxton Garrett. This all hinges on these two guys returning to the major league rotation. Edward Cabrera hopefully has made his final rehab start. He made about the last 3 rehab starts down with Jacksonville, the Jumbo Shrimp, AAA affiliate for the Fish. Last rehab start was the best. It was the best. Pitched into the 6th inning, 5 2/3, and struck out 9. His fastball was up to 99 miles an hour. The velocity's there. So obviously the shoulder injury isn't causing any decrease in velo. But the key the key takeaway from his most recent start was the walks. He only gave up 1 walk. And at this point in Edward Cabrera's career, I think this is his final shot. This is really his final shot with the Marlins as a starter, possibly with with all of Major League Baseball as a starter. I saw Edward Cabrera pitch a couple seasons ago in Oakland, and he was awesome. He was awesome. He was everything about him that game said, I have ace potential. He went 8 innings, completed 8 innings. Just was insanely effective. All the stuff was there. I don't have the exact statistics when it comes to strikeouts or walks, but to go 8 innings, it was probably like 1 run, possibly shutout. Actually, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up out of curiosity. I'm gonna go ahead and look this up because it was a game. It was a meaningless game for all intents and purposes for the Marlins at that point. They were out of the race. It wasn't a very good team, but when it was 2 hits, he gave up 2 hits. I got it up right here. Edward Cabrera, 2 hits in 8 innings. Struck out 7, walked 3. So it was probably one of his best starts, if not his best start he's ever had. And to see that live, it was like, wow, the Marlins have somebody really special here. But the thing with Eddie is that he was never consistent after that. He's never consistent, and it really turned into a bad thing last year. It really snowballed for him, where he was eventually optioned to the minors because of his complete lack of control. Earlier last season against the Giants, he strikes out 10. I mean, the stuff's there. The stuff's there. It's just the control. It's always been about the control. And the first couple rehab starts with Jacksonville, again, he's going 4 innings, walking 3. It's the walks. At this point, you're going to call him up, probably take AJ Puk's place in the rotation. I believe he would be ready to go against the Giants. So next week, beginning of next week. And this is it. This is his last shot. Can he be an effective major league starter? It all depends on the control. Because if he can go out and give you 6 innings, strikes out 7 or 8, and walks 1, that's really good. And that would be a huge drink some water there. That would be a huge addition to the staff and take such a load off the pitching staff that has been taxed this season, especially the bullpen. The bullpen's been absolutely taxed. Starters have not gone deep into games. If Edward Cabrera can come in and be consistent and not have a pitch count rise to 90 pitches in 4 innings and force Skip to pull him, if he can give you 6 innings, 5 2/3 innings like his last rehab start, and be effective, then that just boosts the Marlins rotation immensely. It would do wonders. It would be a very, very huge effect on this team, who really is on life support in terms of health in the pitching staff. You can't afford to see another one of these guys go down. And at this point, everything is hinging on the return of Edward Cabrera and Braxton Garrett. Because right now, if one of these guys gets injured and Edward Cabrera can't go or Braxton Garrett can't go, who do you turn to? That's where things can really, really go down a bad place. So Edward Cabrera, excited for his return. The big thing is the walks. Has he figured it out? Is it a mental hurdle he has to go through? Is it something mechanically? I think it's something mentally he has to go through, because you obviously saw his last rehab start 1 walk in almost 6 innings. So if he comes up in San Francisco and then gives up 4 or 5 walks, well, I don't know. I don't know if he'll ever figure it out. It's his last shot. Ryan Weathers, quiet early success. Ryan Weathers has had success this season in the most quiet way imaginable. Pitched 5 innings against the Yankees. If you watch the game, didn't give up a run. 5 shutout innings. Only struck out 1, walked 3. It seemed, watching it live, it was a little bit of a struggle, a little laborious to make it through those 5 innings if you're Ryan Weathers. But nevertheless, he got it done. He pitched through 5, didn't give up a run. ERA on the year is under 3. ERA under the year is under 3. Right now sitting at a 2.57 ERA. 2.57 ERA. And after he's improved each start. Through 3 starts, he's improved a little bit each outing. First outing against the Pirates, went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits, 3 runs. Next outing against the Cardinals, 5 innings, struck out 6, only gave up 1 earned run, and then he had 5 shutout innings against the Yankees, in which he only struck out 1. So it was a kind of a strange start, but quietly effective. Ryan Weathers, kind of one of my breakout players at the beginning of the season. I thought has a new chance here in Miami to be in the rotation due to injuries and change of scenery from San Diego. The velocity was up. He was my breakout player for the Marlins. And I'm not saying he's there yet, but it's trending up. I'm interested to see his next start. Is he going to stay the same? Is he going to be more effective? Is he going to continue to improve? But somebody to keep an eye on, guys. Ryan Weathers, because obviously with the Marlins 2-11 start, a lot has been focused on the record. A lot has been focused on the injuries. Yori goes down. But you do have to focus on individual success. And if the Marlins do decide to go in a different direction and start trading players, which at this point we just don't know. We don't know if they're going to or not. You want to see who can be a potential building block for the future. So early signs, early success from Weathers, and it's encouraging. Another guy I want to highlight, Jake Berger. Jake Berger is the MLB RBI leader with 15. 15 RBIs from Jake Berger yesterday against the Yanks. Had a 3-run home run. Homered twice in St. Louis, back in his home state. So really good to see him go back home and show up in front of all his family and friends. You know, Berger's one of my favorite Marlins. Goes out, gets the job done, and has been really effective this year. Kind of did a deep dive into the analytics of Jake Berger, because just kind of wanted to see, out of curiosity, the stats behind his early success being up there as an RBI leader. He's tied for first. And I noticed a couple things, a couple interesting statistics. Number one is he's pulling the ball a lot. 56%. He's almost all his hits this year have been to the left side. So really pulling the ball, showing much more emphasis on that aspect than in previous years. Again, it's very early, a very small sample size. But the other thing that Berger has been clutch in is hitting with runners on. So when Berger comes up, and he usually is hitting in the top half of the order always. You like to see him. There's a big, Jake Berger, Josh Bell. It's always kind of Bell first, then Berger. So he's hitting behind guys like Luis Arias and Josh Bell. So when runners are not on, he's 2 for 23. When he's just up there, nobody on. Could be 1 out, 2 outs, whatever, 2 for 23. When runners are on base, scoring position, first base, whatever, he's 11 for 27. That's hitting over 400 when runners are on. And that's where the money's made. That's where he's getting all these RBIs, because he's delivering when it matters. So interesting little stat there. Jake Berger just is lethal when runners are on base. The issue is you got to get those runners on base. Hopefully the offense can keep it up and keep giving him opportunities to continue this good stretch, this good start to the season. So that's today's episode, guys, of Marlins 9. Bit of a shorter episode today, but we'll be back Sunday. Hopefully, when I record, the Marlins will have had some success against the Braves. Really important stretch. A stretch that will determine their season. And the direction this season is going to go. I'm the biggest Marlins fan that I could possibly be. I love this team. I want to see them win. It's tough right now, 2-11, but all you can do at this point is move forward. And you got the Atlanta Braves at home. I hate the Braves. I'm going to say it. I hate them. Nothing about the Braves I like. So I'd like nothing more than to start out tomorrow on Friday with a win. Let's get it, guys. And as always, thank you for listening, and let's go fish.